As the temperatures climb and summer really kicks in, well, many of us are enjoying the warmth, right?
Definitely. Sunshine feels good.
But for our smaller pets, our rabbits and guinea pigs, this hot weather isn't just uncomfortable. It can very quickly become a silent, really dangerous threat.
It's a critical topic, yeah, and one that's often, I think, misunderstood. So today we're taking a deep dive into heat stress and heat stroke in these, well, incredibly vulnerable little animals.
And our mission here is really to cut through all the information out there and give you clear, actionable insights. And maybe some surprising facts, too. We've looked at a whole stack of expert sources: RSPCA, PDSA, Blue Cross, specific vet studies, things like that.
Hmm.
The idea is to equip you, our listener, with the knowledge you need to keep your small friends safe and comfortable, obviously, no matter how hot it gets.
And, right off the bat, here's something that often surprises people. It's this common idea, this misconception that rabbits are naturally pretty heat tolerant.
Oh, I can see why people might think that. You see wild rabbits, like in Australia, seemingly doing just fine in the heat.
Exactly. But the reality is, wild rabbits survive those hot climates because they're crepuscular.
Right. That means they're most active when it's cooler, morning and evening.
Precisely. And during the hottest part of the day, they're not out sunbathing. They're deep underground in cool burrows, in warrens. That's their refuge.
Okay. And that's the key difference for our pets, isn't it?
It really is. Captive rabbits and guinea pigs, too, they usually don't have that option, that natural, cool place to escape to. They rely entirely on us.
We have to provide that cool spot for them.
We are their entire, well, their entire cooling system, basically. We have to manage their environment.
Okay, so let's unpack that a bit more. Why exactly is heat such a huge risk for these specific animals? What's going on with their bodies?
Well, the fundamental issue is their physiology. It's just different. Unlike us or dogs or even cats, rabbits and guinea pigs can't really sweat effectively. And they don't pant efficiently like dogs do to cool down.
That's a huge disadvantage in the heat.
It's critical. Yeah. Rabbits, they primarily use their ears.
Yeah.
Those big ears have lots of blood vessels close to the surface to release heat. But, when it gets really hot, even that amazing system just isn't enough. It gets overwhelmed.
And they have thick fur, too, right? That must trap heat.
Exactly. Dense fur acts like insulation, trapping heat close to their body. So yeah, it's a double whammy.
So heat stress happens when they just can't get rid of heat as fast as they're producing it or absorbing it.
That's it. And it's made worse, not just by high air temperature, but also high humidity, that damp, heavy air. Direct sunlight, obviously. And poor ventilation is a big one, too. Stagnant air is terrible.
Okay, let's talk specifics then. Are there actual temperature thresholds we need to know?
Yes, and they're surprisingly specific. For rabbits, their optimal temperature range is pretty narrow, like 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. That's about 60 to 77 Fahrenheit.
15 to 25 C. Okay.
Heat stress becomes a really significant risk once it gets above 30 Celsius, so about 86 Fahrenheit. And here's the really critical point. If the temperature hits 35 C, which is 95 Fahrenheit, rabbits basically lose their ability to regulate their own body temperature.
Wow. They just can't cope anymore at that point.
They can't. Heat stroke can set in incredibly fast then. Some sources we looked at even suggest that anything over 25 C, so 77 F, is already pushing it and increases their risk. Ideally, you want their living space to stay between maybe 18 and 20 C.
That is an incredibly tight window for safety, and I think you mentioned guinea pigs are even more sensitive.
They really are. Guinea pigs start to struggle and overheat above about 26 Celsius, which is roughly 79 Fahrenheit. Their ideal range is even tighter, 20 to 22 C, that's 68 to 72 F, with 40 to 70% humidity.
So sensitive.
Very. And veterinary data from the UK confirms this. Guinea pigs show up frequently with heat-related problems. It just highlights how vulnerable they are. What feels just warm to us can be genuinely dangerous for them.
And it's not just the outside air temperature we need to worry about, is it? Their actual hutch or enclosure can become a problem itself, these heat sinks you mentioned.
That's a really important point. Yeah. Enclosures, especially ones without good airflow, can absolutely become dangerous heat sinks. Think about warm, still air combined with moisture, maybe from damp bedding.
Oh, yeah.
Or if the hutch is stuck in a spot that traps sun, like, say, a conservatory or even a wooden shed sometimes, that stagnant, warm, humid air just prevents any heat escaping. It's like creating a little oven.
Okay, that paints a scary picture.
Yeah.
So given how incredibly vulnerable they are, we need to be able to recognize the signs, the red flags. And you said earlier they're prey animals, so they hide illness really well.
They're masters at it. It's instinctual.
Yeah.
Hide weakness so you don't look like easy prey. Which means for us owners, you have to be super vigilant. You really need to be checking your pets carefully, probably at least twice a day when it's warm.
Okay, so what are those early signs in rabbits? What should we be looking for?
Early on in rabbits, look for things like drooling or extra salivating, maybe some wetness around their nose, panting short, shallow breaths, just general weakness or lethargy, like they don't want to move much,
Okay.
and check their ears. If they seem redder than usual or feel really warm to the touch, that's a big sign. Your body is trying hard to push heat out through those ears.
So warm ears equals system under stress. And if it gets worse, if it actually progresses to heat stroke,
Mm.
the signs get more alarming.
Much more alarming, yes.
Yeah.
If it develops into heat stroke in rabbits, you might see things like wobbliness, real confusion, maybe tremors, or even fits, seizures, collapse, obviously, or loss of consciousness.
Oh, wow.
And in really severe advanced cases, and this is grim, you might see blood from the mouth, nose, or bottom, or blood in their poo. Those are signs of severe internal damage. Immediate emergency.
Okay. And what about guinea pigs? Are their signs similar? Similar, but slightly different focus. For guinea pigs, watch for rapid or heavy breathing, drooling, like rabbits, extreme sleepiness, just very lethargic, or sometimes restlessness, like they can't get comfortable.
Okay.
If it gets worse, they might collapse or have fits too, which sadly can be fatal very quickly for them. One subtle but important early sign for guinea pigs, if you see them lying really stretched out with their back legs kicked out behind them,
Yeah.
that's often them trying to increase their body surface area against a cooler floor. It's an early indicator they're feeling too warm and trying to cope.
That's a great subtle sign to know. Okay, so recognizing the signs is step one, and it clearly needs really attentive care. But like you said, knowing isn't enough. We need action, proactive steps. So let's pivot now to prevention. How do we stop this from happening? First up, shade and where we put their homes.
Absolutely crucial. The golden rule is pretty simple. Always provide plenty of shade for their hutch and their run. Doesn't matter if they're indoors or outdoors. Never, ever place their enclosure in direct sunlight.
And remember, the sun moves. Exactly. That's key. An area that's shady in the morning could be full sun by the afternoon. You have to check throughout the day.
So constant vigilance, and on really hot days, bringing them inside is best, if you have AC.
If you can, yes, bringing them inside to an air-conditioned room is the safest bet. And definitely never house them in places like greenhouses, conservatories, those glass sunrooms, or even standard wooden sheds. Those places can heat up incredibly fast, become death traps, really.
Okay, good warning. What about indoor setups? Any specific tips there?
Yeah, for indoor rabbits or guinea pigs, close curtains or blinds during the hottest part of the day to block the sun. Make sure there's good ventilation, especially at night when it cools down. Open windows if it's safe. Basements can actually be a good option sometimes.
Because they're naturally cooler.
Usually, yeah.
Okay.
Fewer windows and heat rises, so basements often stay cooler. Also, watch out for those plastic hidey houses or igloos. They can trap heat inside. Better options are things like wooden houses, cardboard tunnels or boxes, or even just a big pile of hay they can burrow into for shade.
Okay, location and shade are sorted. Hydration is obviously vital too. But what about airflow? You mentioned ventilation being key.
Absolutely essential. Good airflow helps wick heat away. So for both indoor and outdoor setups, make sure air can move. Open windows and doors if possible, create a cross breeze, but be careful not to create a strong, direct draft right on them. That can cause other issues.
Right, and fans. Can we use fans?
Yes, a small fan can be really helpful. Battery-operated might be safer if wires are a concern. The key is to always position it so the pet can move away from the direct breeze if they want to. Don't blast it right at them constantly.
Makes sense. Give them a choice.
And obviously keep all electrical cords well out of reach. Chewing wires is another danger entirely.
Definitely. Now, you mentioned something earlier, a kind of clever trick with fans.
Ah, yes. This is a neat one. To boost the cooling effect of a fan, you can place it so it blows across a bowl of ice. Or hang a cool, damp towel over part of their enclosure and aim the fan at the towel.
Evaporative cooling, like a mini swamp cooler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can make a surprising difference to the air temperature right around them.
That's brilliant. Okay, what about other cooling aids? Things we can put in their enclosure.
Lots good options here. Frozen water bottles are a classic. Just freeze a standard plastic bottle of water, wrap it securely in a towel or maybe an old sock. You don't want direct contact with the cold plastic, and place it near them.
So they can lean against it if they want to cool down?
Precisely. For smaller pets, like guinea pigs maybe, some sources suggest putting it on the outside of cage bars just in case of leaks so it doesn't soak their bedding.
Good tip. What else?
Ceramic or stone tiles are great. Things like slate tiles. Place them in shaded spots. They
Hmm.
naturally stay cooler than the surrounding air, and pets love stretching out on them. You can even pop them in the fridge for a bit first for extra cooling power.
Nice, like a little cool spot for them.
Yeah. And then there are the purpose-made things too. Cooling mats or pods designed specifically for pets. Those can be very effective and safe as well.
Okay, let's circle back to water. Ensuring hydration. Seems simple, but any specific tips?
Definitely provide multiple water sources. Always have a heavy ceramic bowl of water available, even if you also use a sipper bottle. Rabbits especially can often drink more easily and get more volume from a bowl.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's easier for them. And check the sipper bottle spouts regularly to make sure they aren't blocked. Change the water at least twice a day, maybe more when it's really hot. Just keep it fresh and cool. And top it up frequently. Water evaporates fast in the heat.
Right. Now, there was a point of debate in the sources about ice cubes in water, wasn't there?
Yes, that's worth clarifying. Some sources suggest adding a couple of ice cubes to the water bowl to help keep the water cool. That's generally fine.
Right.
But one expert source specifically warned against giving rabbits ice cubes to actually eat. Apparently, munching on ice can cause digestive upset for them.
Ah, okay. So cool water. Yes.
Yeah.
Eating ice cubes. No.
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly. The goal is cool drinking water. You can also boost hydration through their food. Try drenching leafy greens in cool water before you give them to them.
Sneaky hydration.
Yep. Offer smaller portions of fresh veggies more often, rather than one big pile. And remove any uneaten bits quickly so they don't wilt and get gross and add moisture to the bedding. Hydrating veggies like cucumber, celery, maybe a little pear are good. Watermelon as an occasional treat is okay too, but it's sugary, so sparingly.
Okay. And grooming. How does brushing help with heat? Seems unrelated at first glance.
It's actually really important, especially for rabbits and long-haired guinea pigs. Regular brushing removes loose fur and mats. All that excess fur is like wearing an extra sweater. It traps heat.
Ah, makes sense. Shedding that extra insulation.
Exactly. Plus, it's good bonding time. For really long-haired breeds, you might consider getting their coat trimmed shorter for the summer months. But don't shave them completely bare. A very short coat still offers a bit of protection against the sun itself, against sunburn on their skin, and provides some minimal insulation against radiant heat. So shorter, yes. Bald, no.
Good distinction. Any other quick prevention tips that people should keep in mind?
Yeah, come more. Providing tunnels or just plain cardboard boxes inside their run or enclosure gives them extra shady spots to retreat to and adds enrichment. And keeping your pets at a healthy weight is important year-round, but especially in summer. Overweight animals really struggle much more to stay cool. That extra fat is extra insulation.
Okay, that's a really comprehensive list of prevention strategies, but sometimes, despite our best efforts, things go wrong. Let's talk about the emergency response. If you even think your pet might have heat stroke, what's the absolute first thing you do?
Okay, deep breath first. Act quickly, but try to stay calm. Every single minute counts. First, immediately move your pet to the coolest, shadiest place you can find. Inside, if possible.
Okay, move them to a cool shade. What next? And what not to do?
This is critical. Do not pour cold water over them or submerge them in cold water. I know it seems intuitive, but the sudden shock can actually be fatal. It can make things much worse.
Right. No cold water shock. So what do we do while we're calling the vet? Because we should be calling the vet immediately, right?
Absolutely. While you start first aid, get someone else to call the vet or call them yourself as soon as you can. Let them know you suspect heat stroke and you're on your way. First aid buys you time, but it is not a substitute for urgent veterinary care.
Okay, so vet is being called. How do we safely start cooling them down without causing shock?
Gently and slowly. For rabbits, the key is their ears. Gently wipe cool, just tap water cool, not icy water onto their ears. Then you can slowly dampen their body fur, being very careful to avoid getting water near their nose or mouth.
Okay, cool water on ears and body for rabbits. Guinea pigs.
For guinea pigs, you can loosely wrap them in a cool, damp towel. Not tightly, just draped. Or you can dampen their fur with a tepid, slightly cool, not cold damp cloth. Some suggest a very fine water mist sprayer used from a distance, but stop immediately if it seems to stress them out.
Gentle cooling. Got it. Offer water.
Yes, offer small amounts of cool water to drink, but never force them. If they don't want to drink, don't squirt it in their mouth. You can also place them on top of a cool, wet towel.
Okay, what else?
Create a gentle breeze with that fan we talked about, or open windows. Don't cuddle them, that transfers your body heat. And don't cover them completely with a wet towel. because that can actually trap heat and stop the cooling process.
Right, need evaporation.
Exactly. If you have an ice pack or a bag of frozen peas or something, wrap it well in a towel again, never direct contact, and you can place the pet near it or partly on it, but only if they don't seem panicked by it. Prevent those ice burns from direct contact.
Okay, gentle, slow cooling, call the vet. What about getting them to the vet? How do we transport them safely?
If you're driving, use the air conditioning in the car. If no AC, have the windows open for airflow. Use a carrier that has plenty of ventilation holes.
Good airflow is key even during transport.
Yes. And if possible, have someone else drive so you can continue gently wetting their ears or fur during the journey. Those pet cooling mats can also be useful inside the carrier for the trip.
Okay. And once they get to the vet, what typically happens? What's the outlook?
The vet team will take over immediately. Their goal is rapid but controlled cooling. They'll use methods like fans, maybe cool water applications, possibly intravenous fluids, IV drips to help with hydration and shock.
Hmm?
Oxygen therapy might be needed, or medications.
It sounds intensive.
It can be. Heat stroke can cause serious damage to internal organs, kidneys, liver, brain. Getting prompt professional veterinary support really does significantly improve their chances of making a full recovery.
But the outlook isn't always good.
Unfortunately, no. Because rabbits and guinea pigs are so good at hiding illness until they're really, really sick, sometimes by the time the owner realizes there's a major problem, the condition is already very advanced. Or if there's any delay in getting treatment, well, the outcome can be less favorable. It really hammers home why prevention, early recognition, and immediate action are just so vital.
Absolutely. Now, beyond heat stroke itself, there's another really serious summer danger we need to cover. Fly strike. It sounds awful.
It truly is. It's another major emergency. Fly strike happens when flies, usually blowflies, those metallic green or blue ones, are attracted to damp or soiled fur or bedding, especially around the animal's rear end.
Okay.
They lay their eggs on the animal. Those eggs hatch very quickly into maggots, and the maggots twice daily checks are recommended. Same as checking for heat issues. Look for signs like lack of energy, not eating, any open wounds or sores, fur loss, maybe a foul smell, or, well, visible maggots. You have to physically check their rear end every day.
And prevention here is mostly about hygiene.
Hygiene is paramount. Keep their living area scrupulously clean. Remove soiled bedding daily, maybe even twice daily in hot weather. Ensure your pet's bottom is always clean and dry. This is especially important for long-haired breeds, who can get soiled more easily.
Are some pets more at risk?
Yes. Older pets, maybe pets with arthritis who can't turn around to groom themselves properly, or pets with dental problems who might drool or not eat properly, leading to a dirtier environment or less self-grooming. Anything that prevents them keeping themselves perfectly clean puts them at higher risk.
Good to know. Okay, one last specific point from the sources, something about brachycephalic breeds. Flat-faced breeds.
Yes, that was an interesting finding from some veterinary studies. Just like we know certain flat-faced dog breeds struggle with heat, it seems some flat-faced rabbit breeds do too.
Like which ones?
Breeds like lionheads and miniature lops, for example. They seem to be overrepresented in heat-related cases that vets see.
Why is that?
The theory is that their compressed facial structure might affect their breathing efficiency. It might get harder for them to regulate temperature, maybe even through subtle panting, compared to rabbits with longer noses. Plus, they often have quite dense fur.
So if you have one of those breeds, you need to be extra careful.
It seems prudent, yes.
Yeah.
Be extra vigilant with all the prevention strategies we've talked about. If you have a lionhead or a mini lop or similar flat-faced breed, they might just have less tolerance built in.
Wow. Okay, so just to recap this whole deep dive then, we've covered a lot. Why rabbits and guinea pigs are so uniquely vulnerable to heat, their inability to sweat or pant effectively.
Right. How to spot the signs, from the subtle early warnings like worn ears or lying stretched out, to the really severe signs of heat stroke like collapse or seizures.
We went through a big checklist of practical prevention tips: shade, ventilation, hydration, cooling aids, grooming, cage hygiene.
Crucial stuff. And the emergency first aid steps: if you suspect heat stroke, move to cool shade, don't use ice-cold water shock, gentle cooling methods, and call the vet immediately.
Plus, we touched on that other horrible summer risk, fly strike, and the specific vulnerability of flat-faced breeds.
We really hope digging into all this detail empowers you, the listener, to protect your small pets. This isn't just info, it's about giving you tools that can genuinely save lives.
Absolutely. So now that you have all this information, maybe think about what other parts of your pet's health you're curious about. Or, more immediately, what's one thing you'll do differently now to make sure they're safe and comfortable this summer?
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. This deep dive really highlights how fast heat becomes dangerous for these little ones and how much their survival depends on us noticing subtle changes on our direct actions.
Yeah, they rely on us so much.
They really do. And considering how good they are at hiding those early signs of distress, maybe it prompts us to think, what does it really mean to be a proactive, observant caregiver?
Yeah.
Not just when it's boiling hot, but every single day. How can we get better at tuning into their quiet signals? Become more fluent in their unspoken language of comfort
Yeah.
and discomfort?